Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Dr. Rao, welcoming you all. I was going to do only LinkedIn Live today, uh, but I thought I will continue my old process of opening on the Clubhouse, Wisdom, which were my main things where I communicate with the people, and also LinkedIn. But the LinkedIn is already being live cast on the StreamYard along with the Facebook and YouTube. So I'm going to continue that for now. Tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, 10 Central, that is 11 uh, Eastern and 8 California time. Uh, I'm going to be featured in a LinkedIn live audio. So if anybody interested, you can come and participate. I would appreciate that. But the topic is going to be what my impressions on artificial intelligence and what is going to be the however it spans out, how can we handle that, with spirituality. So I'm just going to give you some of my ideas of how I am really using artificial intelligence to liberate a lot of time for me. So actually, the artificial intelligence, the writings, the books, the courses, and everything that I do have liberated a lot of time for me. But at the same time, came out pretty nice because uh, I look for the compilation and the writing, punctuation, all those things, grammar, and everything is taken care of. So I do read, I do edit everything, and I only put it out when it is really compatible with me. But sometimes I have to give it to the Chat GPT or Perplexity or Bard. All these things I'm using. Uh, they do a pretty good job, and then they kind of compile a lot of Sanskrit words also that I put in there. They get it. They understand what they are, and the answers are pretty brisk, say right away, right? So I'm very happy with that. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is what is the effect of AI on humanity, more so on the brain. That's what I'm going to really focus on tomorrow and then address those issues. Okay. So if you really are curious about it, come and join me and discuss with me and participate and provide your input. That would be great. Okay. I will announce it later when more people join us here. That way they also know about it. Okay. Now, we were talking about uh, the fundamental life force is us, and we have the instruments of body and the mind. Not that we identify with the body and with the mind. That's what is the current situation is. I'm also like that. You are also like that. We came from that kind of. We think we are the bodies, and we think we are our thoughts. We think we are our minds. That is made up of thought construct, right? And then we suffer. But the moment we kind of really realize what is going on here, without that life force, do I have any body? Do I have any thoughts or mind? If you look at that way, you can realize very simply, yeah, that is what I am. As human beings, we have that intelligence, right? And once we really know that, not just with a concept or theory or some kind of idea about it, rather really identifying it as the truth, real truth, then we are liberated from the body identification and the mind identification. Then, whatever the body is going through, we can handle it better, and we can also not suffer really. So the example is some of the sages, some of the rishis and yogis in India, I know they are pretty detached with their body and the mind. So the people, some people had cancers, some people had real big problems, and then they kind of uh, dealt with it as though it doesn't belong to them. They completely, not denial, but rather not identified. So denial is where we kind of accept it, and then we kind of don't want to accept it, right? But here, it's like a detached from that. So they took surgeries that are supposed to be done on general anesthesia. They took it without general anesthesia. They took maybe some local, but then they have to. It's unbelievable, right? Some of the surgeries that they have done. So I know that kind of phenomenon. It's not 1%, 2%. Several incidents were there. So that detachment, we may not have it, but certainly I'm not going to have it. I'm not that deep or realized soul or anything, but I'm also like anybody else here. But I do have this identification with our life force, which really makes me free of problems of the suffering of the body and also suffering of the mind that are self-made most of the time, especially if the mind is allowed to run wherever it wants to go, and we don't have any uh, other source but to succumb to it, then our mind can make our physical disease worse or get us into physical disease where the healing doesn't happen. So this is the main component of the psychosomatic illness, where people with very active imagination, very active conclusions about themselves, they can make that disease much worse just by thinking about it and thinking negatively about it, thinking all sorts of things you can imagine. I know as medical students, we used to talk with each other, doctors, right? Then whatever that is discussed in the class or in the anatomy, physiology, all those things we go through, right? Whatever they discussed, we kind of imposed on ourselves. We can imagine as though we have that, and that seemed to be real at the time because it is that powerful, the mind conclusions. But later on, we got all of that because it is quite easy to read. Hi, Nazli, how are you? So, identifying with the body, identifying with the mind is, we think it's fundamental. We can all do that, right? But if you really look at it, the life force that is behind all this body and mind is the one we need to really realize that is what we are. Without that, there is no body, there is no mind, right? So body, we know we can train it. We feel the stiffness, we feel the weakness, we feel the numbness, whatever symptoms are, lack of symptoms, or just plain or not able to walk, not able to really sleep well, all those physical things are there. Then you teach the body training. By training, you teach the body how to really improve those symptoms. For example, if you are weak and you just had a surgery and you lay down for a while and you're very weak, you will make you get up and walk with assistance and then walk with the kid and then walk by yourself slowly, right? And then it will put you on a treadmill to run and all that. Okay, by step we train. The training is small goals, you reach them, and then you extend the goals, that kind of thing, right? um, but the mind, that is a real problem because you don't know that your mind is out of control of yours, and it is scattered, it's going all over, and it can constantly chatter, right? And it can constantly imagine things, it constantly can really feel like I have this and that, and I will be like this, I'll be dying for this, and all those things will be there. So that kind of chatter, I don't want to listen in sense, I don't want to identify with it. Heart beats constantly, and we kind of sometimes aware of it because we are kind of slowed down, we're sitting somewhere, or we ran and then heart is beating fast, then you know. So you know, okay, heart is function is to beat and it will beat, right? Then you discover things like if you take a deep breath, the heart rate will go down, things like that. Or if you are really having weakness and slow heart rate, then you're in trouble. If you have real fast heart rate, then obviously it will cause discomfort for you. So we kind of look at that way, right? But with the mind, its function is to have thoughts. Its function is to originate these impulses from either outside or from your memory. That's why the memory that is stored kind of bothers us, because it produces these long lost memories, unnecessary memories, unpleasant memories, or negative memories. All those things come, right? And then that memory irritates the mind, and it can create a turmoil. And all those things I'm talking about, you could say, hey, I'm going to be proactive about what I want to think about. I'm going to be discarding things that I don't want. So in that sense, I'm talking about, hey, mind, whatever you say, I'm not interested. Okay, that kind of thing. So it's a very healthy, very important function. But many people come to me and say, I don't know, you talk about meditation, but I cannot do meditation. Why? Because my mind runs all over. Are you doing something to make that run like that? That's people are not aware and they cannot catch that too. But if you really understand it, mind is like a you provide the fuel for it, and then you put some fire on it, and it is going to lit up and run like that, right? But if you think of social media, I'm there all day, or news, I was there, and so much of gossip that I'm paying attention to, or so much of unnecessary talk I'm doing it, but you don't have this daily armamentarium where you can say, I'm going to take time off, or just with the kids we say, just keep quiet for a while, and they will. Okay, but if you make it a habit for them, calming down, quieting down for a few minutes in the morning and in the evening, and you do that every day, when the time comes, they are into that. They just sit. This is what is being done in the elementary schools, high schools nowadays, because the people are not having any quiet time. So that's the word, quiet time. They use the teachers. I kind of taught many schools do that. Teachers that were coming to my practice, I was always talking to them about it. And initially, it was very difficult for the kids to accept. But then, after a few days, they got used to it, because when they were calmed down and completely focused on no thought, but just to be there, they were feeling very good in their own self, right? Once they're addicted to that, then they will be continuing to do it. I am saying, in this information age, with all this stimuli growing up, and that means you have so many notifications, so many emails, so many phone calls, and then so much of social media coming your way, and you are letting all that come in, then you are playing a victim to that without you knowing about it. So don't expose yourself unnecessary information overload. Examine it. Is this really something that is? The best thing is, take a break from it. Go to the nature, spend some time with it. Take a break. Go to a friend and just don't talk about any issues. Just be with each other and spend some time, laugh together, play a game, something like that. Okay, that is missing even in the children. That's missing quite often. Okay, so I really don't think that should be neglected, because a lot of people are paying price for it. There was a congressional inquiry on all these Meta, and then TikTok and other people, right? And the Congress couple of days ago, and they were saying, you guys have blood on your hands, because many teenagers are committing suicide, and also this sex thing is going on, where they kind of friendly gather together. One girl, the mother of the girl came and told us that this girl was pursued by people who are much older than her, and convinced her that they are same as her age, and then got her confidence, and then got some intimate photographs. And the moment she sent these photographs, they started to blackmail her and also really bully her. So she ultimately committed suicide. There are so many countless people are doing that because of this social media, and we are sleeping on it. So we cannot control what they are doing. We cannot know, because even the most committed parents, they don't know what's happening with their kids, because the phone and everything comes through the phone. And these people know that it's hurting the kids, but they just don't do anything because it's too big, too powerful, and they don't want any regulations, right? So Congress is pretty mad about it. I hope they will go ahead and do some regulation so that kids are protected. That's my concern. But what I'm talking about here is, if the parents don't know how to really see this problem of what data is coming, how I should allow it, how can they do anything for the kids? They don't know how to do that, right? So this is why I'm talking about, don't listen to all the talk. Don't allow so much of unnecessary information come into your mind, and then the mind begins to talk. So I don't want to listen to that. So that's what I'm trying to protect here. Hi, Santosh. How are you?
I'm good, doctor. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I'm just listening now, whatever you're
Okay.
saying, and that's absolutely right. Whatever you're saying,
Yeah.
it's too much distraction these days, especially social media. But
Yeah.
for me, like I'm a marketing guy, and I do a couple of have a couple of businesses. But
Yeah.
even though sometimes if you don't want, you still have to do it, right? So
Yeah.
that's
No,
obligation
no,
right
no.
there.
The purpose, the
But the point is,
yeah,
it's all about the balance, how you balance your
yeah.
life, right?
No,
So
no. The
that's how,
purpose of
yeah,
the marketing is, we have a tool for the benefit of the society. We got to advertise. We got to tell them. That's how
yeah.
honestly, and that's okay. Nobody's talking about that. But this is about lot of things that are not useful for anybody, but to exploit people. That's what I'm talking about. There
Yeah,
is,
you're right. You're right.
yeah,
Because normally people don't know what exactly
yeah,
they're doing. That is the
yeah,
main problem. They don't
exactly,
know what is important, what is not important, what
yeah.
comes in priority, what is exploiting, what is not exploiting. These are all about the level of
No, if I
consciousness,
if I
right?
want to buy your
Yeah,
product, Santosh, something you are making that's useful for me, I will go and research. That is good information. I will go find out, because I have a need to buy it. I want to know information, so I'm going to do it. That's how it is supposed to be. Increasing communication, increasing our commerce, increasing this marketing, all those things much
yeah.
easier. That's how it's supposed to be. But then, if you instill all sorts of exploitative material in your advertising just to attract people, that is what is corrupting people, and especially the children, right? They don't know, and they see all these pictures, then there will be a problem, right? And then communication can be used either way, good or bad. What I'm talking about is, if we understand what is the information coming along that is going to take a toll on our minds, then we will be much more careful. People don't know now, because they just allow, oh, we have to deal with it. That's it. No, no, it goes into your subconscious mind, stays there, and comes out when you don't want it. That's how all these people do neurotic things. Neurotic basically means they do the same thing again and again without any result. So we call that madness, but the madness is become normalized now. So that's why people like us, who are interested in these social issues and consequences to the patients and other people, we have a duty to bring it out, and we have to tell people, this is what's going on, be careful. You get it?
Yeah, I know. Whatever you're talking about, this about social marketing
Yeah,
sort of thing you are talking about, because
yeah,
you promote your business, you provide the service, you go on social media and all these things, but you have to understand the other
yeah,
side as well, like how it's impacting to the
yeah,
society and community in a positive way. So
yeah,
if you are promoting your business, that's fine and good. You are doing marketing, that's fine and good. Your strategy, you make the advertisement campaign and all these things,
yeah,
everything is good, right? But before finalizing these things, you gotta understand what is the
yeah.
impact to the society and the community in the large scale. So that should be very, very
Yeah,
taking
it's
care
not
of it.
about only
Yeah,
marketing though. I'm talking about in general.
overall.
There's
Yeah,
so much information, and some of it is not really needed. Some of it is needed, right? So that discrimination is lost. Even in research also, if you go on doing for one day, that's okay. If you are going to do for a small thing for 1 week, then that's abnormal. That's what is happening with people because they don't make the decision right away. They want to the negative stories, they want to see the same channel so many hours. A negative story itself will influence you. If you look at it again and again and again, that is taking a toll. And these people on Instagram, for example, they are telling the kids to kill themselves, commit suicide. That's cooking. That's really bothers us. I think that should be really regulated. At least some of the people who are doing it continuously should have something like a punishment there for them, and then they will stop doing that. Yesterday on the congressional thing, they were pointing out these cases, and then I think one senator said, "You have blood on your hand," and that is really true. There were so many reports. We are reading medical reports that from 2014 to 2018, they did a study. I told you about this several times before. The suicide rate among the teenage girls has gone to 189%. So that's something really bothers me, right, as a physician, and then how much life these girls have.
yeah.
In total.
I heard that. I heard
Yeah,
that from one congressman was saying to
yeah,
Mark Zuckerberg, hey
yeah,
Zuckerberg, you
yeah,
have blood in your hand." I heard
yeah.
that, doctor. I
Yeah.
heard that.
That's true. That's really true because these
Yeah.
people know about it and they did not do anything, and because they're sliding, because everybody comes to social media because they have a business there or they have something they want to do. They want to, like I don't come for the business. I come to educate and to bring awareness to people. Okay. So I will be paying attention to what I need to, right? Of course, I talk about digital toxicity. I take these issues pretty deep in my investigation. That's why I come to know these things, and then my job is to convey to the my friends and family and everybody, hey, this is going on. Just be careful. That kind of thing.
Doctor, I want to ask you something, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I listen to a lot of podcasts and all these things. I read a lot of books, right? Jay Shetty, I listen about from Jay Shetty here on podcast, and he says before 1 hour before you go to the bed, and when you wake up in the morning, you don't check your mobile phone. If you do that, it's better. But you know what, doctor? For me, my lifestyle is like exactly I do opposite what he said.
yeah.
What I do is just before go to the bed,
No,
that
I've
is my
been
time
I've
to
been saying this for
check
years.
all my social media, everything. But even though they sit here, whoever says I'm not going to change my habit, I'm not going to change my habit. That's ingrained in my brain, right? So that's how I'm maneuvering. But I try to manage in my way. So it's not necessary whatever these motivational speaker they say, whatever they say, we don't need to follow
No,
whatever they
no.
say. We gotta follow what suits you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
With
no, no.
what suits you.
It's a
Yeah.
question
So
of
that's what I think. Yeah.
no. I have been saying this for years about switch off your phones half an hour before you sleep and switch them half an hour after you wake up, because there is a scientific reason what happens if you don't allow the stimuli from outside to get out of your system before you go to sleep, and also don't take it up right after you get up, because the way the thought reinforces and becomes very active is because of these visual or auditory, whatever stimuli that are coming from the external sources can make your mind go on working even when you're trying to sleep. and that's not good for you. And because I recommend unwinding and also avoiding all the stimuli from outside, that's when you get the deep sleep. Okay. The other thing is, when you get up in the morning, if you are not in the awareness, but you're in the streaming thought mode, which you want to subject yourself, that's okay. But it don't take it for granted, because if you're neurotic, it becomes new pathways in your brain, and that make you think more and more. But you don't need it. You can be in the present and use the thought better. See, actually, I make better decisions because I wake up in the morning and pay attention to my awareness and be here and now, and thereby I use thought consciously, proactively, intentionally. That's why whatever I take up, I will be focusing only on that and then resolving it and go. If you don't want it, you want to think 10 different things and you cannot do anything better, that's up to you. But then this mechanism is there. That's why I was talking about this for a long time. Long time. Don't switch on the telephones the first thing in the morning, delay that. And also, before you go to bed, unwind, and also really calm your mind before you go to sleep. That's a health perspective to keep our mind healthy. Okay, if you want to not to do it, that's up to you. It's your choice. But we have to tell you what we think is a good thing for the patient or anybody, right?
Got it. So half an hour before the bed is always a great idea.
Yeah.
Scientifically proven techniques.
Other
As
thing
Dr.
is,
Rao said.
other thing, Santosh, what happens? Like me,
Yeah.
I have been doing
Yeah.
this for years, right? Now,
Yeah.
I don't have to have half an hour before. Even if I switch it off within 5 minutes, I go into the mood of silence completely, because I'm already established in silence. And so most of the time, my mind is silent. I use thought consciously. After it is done, I'm done with it. See, the problem is people don't know the technique of how to use it properly, and then completely get out of it. Like I see a patient, right? For example, you can understand this very easily. I see a patient, and I get a lot of privacy, a lot of information that I should keep private and all that. So I will listen to him. I will give complete attention to him, but I don't bring what I saw the previous patient or what I'm going to see the next patient. I'm completely with him in the present. You can also do the same thing with each task. And afterwards, I don't want this to linger on in my mind. That's a habit. How you think, how you dump the information that you don't have is a question of acquired skill that I
Yeah,
have.
my
Yeah.
case is doctor. My case is a little bit different. Like I'm very good on sleep. I have a very good sleeping habit. So
Yeah.
let's say, as you said, half an hour before, I'm not doing that. I'm not been able to do that, but I have to improve that habit. It helps to my health.
Yeah.
But so far, what I do is like that like normal other people. I use mobile phones before the bed, and then when I'm ready to sleep, doctor, it doesn't even take 1 minute to make me sleep. I will sleep like a hell.
That's
I
very
just
good.
dead.
That's very
Dead.
good. Very good,
I
Santosh.
get dead on the bed, and
Yeah.
you mean in the morning time, even like I'm waking up for how many years, doctor? How
Yeah.
many years? But still, I need alarm to wake me up. I can't wake up.
No, you may be different. That's good. It is working for you. But then thing is,
Yeah, so
suppose,
that's why I think
yeah,
that is it compulsory that like you said that scientifically I believe in
yeah,
scientific
yeah.
fact, right? But the thing is, even though I'm using mobile phones,
No,
I'm
no.
using
I'll
all these
ask you
things when I
this
go
way.
to the bed.
Let me ask
Yeah,
you. Let me ask you this question.
yeah,
Do you experience silence in your mind?
yeah. I do, doctor. I
How
do.
long?
But honestly, like even there are a lot of people they don't
No,
believe
how
how
long?
quickly I get sleep.
How
Yes.
long? Minutes or seconds? Or how long you can experience silence?
Maybe in a 1 or 2 minutes I get
Yeah,
dead
that's
on
what
the
I'm
bed.
saying. That's why, because you don't know what it is to be silent, and what is the sukoon, what is the real good comfort and nurturance that you feel. You don't know that. Once you cultivate that, then you say what I'm saying. Other thing is, as
Yeah.
people advance in the age, like a decades, and when they are doing this thinking all the time, when they
Mhm.
get to 70s, 60s, and all that, what happens is they cannot
Yeah.
forget the things that happened way in the past. See, they don't remember what is happening in the front, like yesterday, today, and all that. But
Yeah.
these memories overwhelm them. Okay, my own sister is like that. She's 80-year-old, and I'm working very hard to get her out of those memories, because what happens is neuroplasticity. The same thought you think unconsciously, that becomes a neuronal path. It has a cortical path that is not in your control. It will come. That's why don't make those cortical junctions even now. When you are young, when you are active doing it, you may not be having that much time to remember all these things. But then when they are retiring, that's when that hits them. We saw that. That's also one of the reasons why dementia is high, why it gets worse and all that. So there's a lot of things hidden in this. So conscious thinking, having silent mind, calm mind is very important tool, especially as we go into the artificial intelligence going to flare up. A lot of your cognitive work will be done by the computers, but then you don't know what to do. That part that is left alone. So there's a lot of consequences about this. But somebody who enjoys the silence, who really knows the health, because of the mind activity is really not scattered, not movement going on continuously, they know the value of this. But that could be too late by the time you recognize it. You see? So, Nazli, you have any questions? Oh, anybody on the Wisdom app? Hi, Nazli.
Hello, Dr. Rao.
How are you?
I'm very, very good at the moment.
Yeah.
And my question is, depending on the chemistry of the brain,
Yeah.
We have access to certain thoughts or we don't have. For example, I tried some CBD oil yesterday and today,
Yeah.
which is illegal in Germany.
Yeah.
It doesn't have THC. So I don't experience the repetitive sad thoughts anymore.
Okay.
But the day before that, I had many, like 4 or 5 thoughts that keep me in bed and come and like it's just
Yeah.
all the time on my mind. So my question is, uh, just not having access to some thoughts, it means they are still there in our subconscious mind playing. So
Yeah.
what is the right approach actually? Thank you.
Yeah, that is really true. Cognitive reframing, you can do it naturally or you can do it with expert help. What it does is it functions at the level of the quality of thought. If it is negative, then it can really convert into something positive. It's like a reshaping that. Then that is okay. But then the effect of the negative thoughts on the brain may go down. But when they go and sit down in the subconscious, the thoughts can come, and depending on how healthy you are, you will not react. Otherwise, you will react. So there is another step beyond this. This is the contribution of the ancient wisdom. There it is. Who is having the thought? Is that life force that I'm talking about is your true nature, or your brain and intellect and all that? Okay, so when once you see thoughts are happening to my mind, to my brain, but not my real self, it's like a, suppose it's a screen, so, film screen, and the movies play on that, right? The movie can have horror or sadness or comedy and all that, but then the screen is not affected by it. But without the screen, the movie cannot play, right? So you got to really identify yourself as the screen, which is the life force of behind this of thought and all that, right? Then these thoughts may come, but they won't have any influence because that is in the purvey of the brain and the mind, not your real self. So that's where it is really, um, really transcends those reactions that you are talking about. Another thing, Nasli, as you become more aware of them, rather than identifying with the thoughts, you are watching them. You are not indulging in them. So when you are indulging in them, your brain chemistry is much more agitated because you think that is real, that is happening. But then if you really watch it, they're like a cloud in the sky. They come and go. You just have to stand apart and watch it. Do that. Even if they, until down the line, they lose their power. See, when they get power is if the thoughts initiate a chemical reaction, which is what happens with all the hormones we talk about, right? And even this liking and this somebody says something nice and then you perk up, and then somebody says something bad, you go down. All those reactions will go down when you transcend the effects of this thought. So watch your thoughts, whatever they are. With the cognitive reshaping, we call it in Sanskrit the Pratipaksha Bhavana. Okay, that is there for thousands of years, and then it is being used. That I'm glad. I also help people to understand the phenomena and help them to reframe, yeah, negative with the positives. Okay, make sense? The second level I talked about is very tough for people because they identify with the mind and brain. That's why these thoughts keep on coming and people identify with them, and then that's it. So it's a question of you have to find out, am I really identified with a thought or am I apart from it and watching it? So be that watcher, be that witness, be that, somebody outside. Actually, thoughts are outside of real self, and to get to that takes some time, but once you get to that it will be very easy for you. Let's see, anybody here wants to come up, so anybody on the wisdom, please come up. Marcella, nice to see you. Daryl, Max Hersman, and Shat, Sharante, and Angelina. Okay.
Dr. Rao, where are you? You are in other platform online as well, like
Yeah.
live? Which platform you are at? Others one?
I'm on 5 platforms.
You are in LinkedIn as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I better go on LinkedIn. Let's see. I haven't experienced much on LinkedIn. Let's go to LinkedIn now. I off from here.
By the way, Santosh, tomorrow morning at 10 Central, I'm going to talk about AI and how spirituality approaches AI, so that will be better. Okay. So, where were we? Yeah, I think Nazli had a very, very important and practical question. And let me explore that a little bit, because if you didn't get it in the first time, even if you understand it, it's an enormous benefit. But if you really implement what I told you, like you become the watcher, even if you watch it a little bit, that's fine. So what I teach in my wellness club is the way it goes is more like first we make the body kind of workout. Like we start with the deep breathing, just a preliminary to prep the system. Then I ask them to be here and now, right? And then in the presence, we do the stretches and breathe. We align with the breath and the brain, and we kind of do those things. And then formal breathing exercises are done. They are much more variety, much more important for the inner organs. That is done for another 15-20 minutes, and then we do one particular exercise at the end of the whole thing. Actually, this stretching of the body, breathing, focusing, all that towards this final step, where you kind of focus on your your gaze will be focused in the middle of the forehead. You close your eyes and you take deep breaths. As you take the deep breaths, your thoughts slow down. That automatically happens, right? Uh, so it's a question of really understanding that, you know. It's a question of close your eyes and you take deep breaths. As you take the deep breaths, your thoughts slow down. That automatically happens, right? Um, so I want the LinkedIn and Santosh. You see that, right? So it's a question of let me close that. I opened it because I saw your comment. You know, so I want the LinkedIn and Santosh. You see that, right? Okay. So what happens there is when you take it. I think I'm talking two things.
Yes, doctor, I'm here. I'm just trying to get from LinkedIn because I
I
want to
know.
get more
I want
experience
to
from
close
LinkedIn.
that. I want to close that so that I won't be confused here. That's why I kind of talk on the clubhouse and the wisdom if people come up, you know. So that's why. Uh, those recordings are followed by my friends in the LinkedIn. That's why I do that, you know. Uh, so when you sit down, when you close your eyes, keep your gaze in the middle of the forehead. Then, as you take deep breath in and out, thoughts will be slowed down. That's one thing happens. And then, as the thoughts come, they may come, right? Something comes up. Then, what you do is you kind of watch them. And also, with the breath, what you say is, I'm not this body and mind when you're breathing out. But when you're breathing in, then who am I? I am this life force behind these two. That is the practice that is leading to the whole 1 hour. And when they are all done, maybe 10 or 15 breaths we do it, but then that is what it is carried on into the day. So to get to the state where they can really understand it and then apply it, takes some time. It depends on how much you are really conditioned. You know, once you get out of the conditioning, we don't do anything. We just by training, you get out of the conditioning on your own, and then you develop this capacity to be focused, to be detached from the body mind identification. So that is the aim of that. Okay. Anyway, whatever topics I bring in are really related to what I am doing every day. So that way it becomes so much easier for me. It's not like I have to quote statistics and all. It's from my experience. You guys are listening to this. Okay. It's a realized experience. It's not just accumulated knowledge. There is something I learned from there. It's not about the knowledge we have. It is not about the books we study. It's like a if you quiet your mind, you see the truth in silence. If you still the mind, you get in touch with the divine force. Be still and know your God. That's really very good in the Upanishads, Vedas, and all the philosophy that am familiar with, the Advaita philosophy. Okay, but you don't have to call yourself something and do that. You just realize, and it will come through you naturally. You know. So, anybody on the wisdom want to come up? You can come up because I can handle you guys here.
Peace, and calm, isn't it, doctor? That is the best way,
Yeah.
isn't it?
But if you have it, you won't make a mockery of it. See, I am you, Santosh, immediately. And but I know what you're talking about. That's true. It is you see, it's not the peace that is we are talking about. It is our inner strength. Okay, somebody was in the Himalayas and he was doing every day this meditation, closing eyes and all that, right? The other person went and said, "Why are you doing this? Why are you here in this cold? And why are you doing all this?" And the man said, "Oh, I want peace, sir. That's why I'm here." No, don't do the for the peace. Do it for the strength. That's what the
Yeah.
sannyasi advised him. Actually, that is my philosophy too. Develop the inner resistance, inner resilience. That's why you do these things. Resilience in the body, resilience in your mind, resilience in emotions, resilience in the spirit. All those are possible once you understand the ancient insights into the human being. Okay, modern people are very good about external comforts, external things, all the technology. In a way, the technology is kind of blindsided humanity because they are not doing what is good for the life. That's why the planet is at the stage it is. But if you really want to subjectively understand and feel strong and really face a lot of troubles, that means transcendence of suffering and realizing the ultimate fulfillment. Ancient wisdom has the clues for it. Okay, so you can have good comforts now, but don't be dependent on the comforts and all that. But if you have inner resilience and then comforts, that's no problem. So I kind of enjoy the best of both worlds. you know
So,
yeah.
Dr. Rao, I'm going to Nepal in 2 months' time, so I'll get
Wow.
a lot of things back from there because, I'm going probably April, first week of April, I'll be heading to Nepal.
Yeah.
My son, we call it Brata Bandha. Do you know that in Brahmin they do the
Yeah.
rituals for,
Yeah.
when they turn like, 11, 12,
Yeah.
and he's turning 13, so we are doing that ritual. So
Yeah.
let's learn from ancient thing back from Nepal. We visit several places back in Nepal, visit Pashupatinath, and
Yeah.
all these things. So it's gonna be exciting. So you're right, doctor. Like technological advancement, we have done a lot, but if we don't understand ourselves, our inner strength, then that's not helpful. That's why I'm listening all these things. I'm learning little bit, because
No, I
first what
have.
happens, like you wanna do something different. You wanna go faster and faster and quicker to achieve all these things, and later what? Then
Yeah.
after you come back and you start to
No,
realize,
that's exactly what it is because
yeah,
they
yeah,
talked about four ways the human beings go about life is a dharma, artha, kama, moksha. What if you take it, kama means desires. Everybody has normal desires and all that, fulfilling them. Okay, when you get up, all those things are, and then you artha is gaining a livelihood, amassing some money, retirement, all those things are there. Okay. But these two, even if you do correctly, that is Dharma Marga, even if you correctly, they seem at the end of it, there is emptiness. They are not fulfilling. The fulfillment is not going to be there. People achieve commercial success, professional success, and a lot of things, but then they have all their desires fulfilled. But then they come to a place where they say, what then? What next? What is that?
you know what, doctor? You know
Yeah.
what, doctor? I watched the movie called Donkey from Shahrukh Khan.
Hmm.
That movie, and we went to watch that movie. That movie is really great movie. It's capturing the people who goes for overseas for their blah blah blah. So they want to do something, achieve in life, and then
Yeah.
after at the certain stage they feel like no, and they return back. That was a really great story. We really love that movie. Have you watched
No,
that movie?
no, I didn't say it, but then what it is ancient had a wonderful life, a simple outward life and a very rich inward life. That's why they lived 120 years on an average. And then they were peaceful and non-violent. All those good things were there. And when this technology for outside things have come, the tools have come, then people kind of got outwardly. That's okay. But then technology as a whole, a question is it really contributing to your life, or is it causing the destruction of the planet, destruction of the people? All the armamentarium, all the technological innovations are put into the killing thousands of people in a second, and all these school violations and all. So I would say, along with the technology, we should have abandoned that inner growth that the ancient had. So what I'm trying to do is bring that back to correct the imbalance. Technology is there to help us, but if I make my life simple, how much technology I will need? Communications, very good, and helping a lot of people, very good. But then it also has, in the wrong hands, it is causing havoc, right? And also, this consumption attitude is promoted by this. See, what it is the question is this: are you contribute to the life as a whole, or are you so enamored by technology you are blinded by it? You don't see anything else because you think everything technology will solve. Now, if the AI, which is going to really take over your cognition, what is going to happen? You see, so far all the technology had been to help people to contribute to us, but now it never dominated us. But this has the potential to dominate AGI, right? When it comes, it's going to dominate thousands of robotic people with and all those things are there. But still, I think we will adjust to it. We will be doing some harm, but at the same time, people will gain a lot. That's my optimistic view. But at the same time, all the problems of the technology, information overload, brain fog, they are only preliminary. Down the line, the people will be with all this AR and virtual thing. People will forget who they are. So that is not a good sign for us. Anyway, I think it is time for me to leave now because they were asking me for dinner, I think. So I will see you again tomorrow that morning. LinkedIn Audio Live, that is there. Okay. So if you can make it, come on there, Santosh. Okay. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow then. Okay. Bye, everybody, on the Wisdom app.